Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Grand Circle Tour podcast is about to air right this moment. Please remain seated and keep your seatbelt fastened at all times. Thank you.
The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a Grand Circle Tour of the Magic Kingdom. All passengers board.
Star Tours announces the boarding of the Endor Express. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door.
Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I am Sam, the American Eagle, and I am proud to introduce the Grand Circle Tour podcast, a celebration of Disney parks, but mostly the American ones. I really like these guys.
Hey, I'm Caroline. Welcome to this edition of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. We're so glad you've joined us tonight. And I'm here tonight with Dan. How are you, Dan?
Hey, how's it going?
It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, it's been a long time.
All summer it feels like.
All summer.
What's up with you?
Waltz up with me. You know, I have a pretty good waltz up here. So it has to do with something. My first love is Disney, of course. But I'm also a big comic geek, and I live here in New York. And every October we have New York Comic Con, and because I've been going year after year after year, I'm considered, I think they call it like a legacy ticket holder. What that does is it gives me some extra perks. One of the perks is to get into secret lotteries into different panels, some panels that haven't been announced yet. And most of the panels in New York Comic Con have to do with, you know, comics and some movies. It's not as movie oriented as maybe San Diego Comic Con is. But I went on last week and I looked at the panel list, and one of the panels is a Disney Parks panel. First time ever in New York Comic Con that they will be having a Disney Parks panel. So naturally, I was a little shocked about it. I immediately went on Google, and I'm telling you, I can't find it anywhere. It hasn't been announced. It's like almost Dan Hansen's the only one that knows about this so far, and it's only 2 weeks away. So,
but they did announce that it is going to be there for.
Oh, they did announce it?
No, I'm asking. Did they say it was official?
It's official on my list of options to choose. There's a time for it and everything. It's in the main stage. However, if you look at the Comic-Con website, I didn't check today, but I checked yesterday. That spot right now is just open. It's vacant, so you don't know what's going to be there. But then I Googled Disney Parks panel, New York Comic Con, and Disney hasn't announced anything. No one's announced anything. So I'm really interested as to what the heck this could be. Of course, I put in for it into the lottery system. I'll find out tomorrow if I want it.
That's very interesting because especially since the D23 Expo just ended.
I know. It's so weird.
Minds, unless that they have something big that they wanted to release, but it was too soon at the Expo, so they thought the Comic-Con would be a nice gesture. Because I do know that Disney does release certain things, like with the Mission Breakout for Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, that they released a lot of info on that before it opened. I believe it was at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, well, I could tell you I've been going to New York Comic-Con for the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years. They've never had a Disney panel of any sort, let alone a Disney Parks panel. They have different Disney things there, obviously, but...
Because if it was something that was already announced at the D23 Expo, I don't know why we would have a whole nother panel on it if it was already released. And especially since Disney is kind of... They're funny about where and when something is released if it's not on their terms.
Yep. Well, at first I thought maybe they're just going to do the same exact panel that they did at D23.
It's possible for people.
But then I said, but now I'm thinking they haven't even announced this. That's a little weird that it's just an empty spot on the on the schedule of panels.
But even though it has something to do with the Disney parks, it would still have to do with something Marvel related, right? Or something.
I mean, it's not only comics. There's a lot of like TV shows and stuff like that. So I don't really know, to be honest. I am looking forward to it. It's 2 weeks away, and you will get breaking news from the Grand Circle Tour podcast on what those announcements are at that panel.
We can't wait to hear what the secret event is.
Yeah.
We'll be on pins and needles. Well, hey, George.
Hello. Again, it's been a while.
I know. George already did all the talking, and he hasn't even been introduced yet.
I know. What's up with you, George?
I guess I'm just one that I really don't need an introduction. My waltz up. Well, just this past week, I have now started my own YouTube channel. Passengers, you can check me out at Disney Family Man 23. I only have a few out right now, but more is coming. And the more that I go on these trips and everything, I'm going to do on-location vlogs and everything. So it's definitely a new venture that I'm going forth with. And who knows where this will lead me.
How exciting. That's great.
Very cool.
And you can follow him on Instagram, too. What is your name on Instagram? It's the same name.
I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same name.
Say it again, though.
Disney Family Man 23.
Yeah.
Yes.
Follow Disney Family Man 23 on Instagram.
Yeah, I had to add a number. I just wanted Disney Family Man because that's just like what I call myself on the YouTube. But I wasn't strong enough for some reason, so I had to add something a little extra. So I did 23 for 1923, that the Walt Disney Company was founded. A lot of people think that I'm still 23, so I just say, I just go with that. So yeah, I'm 23 again.
Own it. Well, tonight.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, mine's not nearly as exciting as yours. I have a friend that she loves to go to find treasures at the Goodwill or an antique shop, that kind of thing. And she's always finding Disney treasures for me. And she just found me a coffee mug. And I was a Mickey Mouse coffee mug, and I was so excited. And I think she paid 50 cents or $1 for it. And when I was at Disneyland a couple of weeks ago, it's still in the gift shop. So I was like,
really?
What?
The same coffee mug?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my waltz up, because my life is exciting.
That's amazing that coffee mug made it, from the gift shop to the Goodwill that quickly.
Well, right? I mean, that same coffee mug could be in that gift shop for 10 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mickey Mouse, it wasn't particularly like, topical in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, I was pretty excited when I saw the exact same coffee mug in the gift shop for like $15. So anyway, but speaking of Disneyland, so I just got back and George just got back, and our trips were very different. Mine was very last minute, and I was there for 2 full days. And I was just going to talk about the things I did on my very last minute trip and my very quick impressions of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge part.
Cool.
Have you guys talked about that at all?
Here and there, but we're
okay.
Good. I like how we all have like different opinions on it and different outlooks on it, because I think everyone at some point either has. It's pretty much like in the middle. It's either you like it or you don't.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'll just kind of start with the highlights of my trip. I met 3 of my friends there, and we stayed at the Grand Californian, and it was fantastic. And I've stayed there before, and I'll be honest, it's not my favorite hotel. My favorite is the Disneyland Hotel. However, they redid, and I know the Grand Californian is supposed to be like their, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
signature.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And like the Grand Floridian is at Disney World.
Right.
It's very pretty. It's very expensive. They all are. The location is fantastic. It's very, it's super easy to get into to the parks. But they redid it, and I thought the redo was wonderful. And one of the girls that I was staying with had a very good friend who was an Imagineer and helped with the redo. So she told me, like, in the things that you wouldn't know just as a person going in there, in the countertops, they took wine bottles. There are broken chips of wine bottles from California wines in the top of the countertop. I thought, oh, this looks like it came from Home Depot. I had no idea. But it was really fun that it got pointed out. Anyway, I thought that the redo at the Grand Californian was great. I really enjoyed staying there. I would definitely stay there again. Do you guys have any questions about it?
I actually have a question with the Grand Californian, because I never actually stepped foot inside of it. That with the other hotels, I do know, like, you have to go through like a security checkpoint and everything, like a bag check to go into the hotel and back out again. When you're in the park in DCA and they have their own private entrance, do you still have to go through a security checkpoint?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You do. Yeah. And it wasn't bad. It was fine. It was no big deal. Yeah, so that was no big deal. Do you guys have any other questions about the Grand Californian? I had a theme park view room. No, I didn't. I'm making that up. I had a downtown Disney view room. And when you shut the sliding glass door, you couldn't hear any noise or anything. So it was a really nice view. I really enjoyed staying there. The beds were really comfortable. The linens were really nice. They have I think they've mostly taken the bathtubs out. You have to request a room with the bathtub.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The showers were really nice, except that it had one of those, I know you can't see me, the thing that comes over your head and sprays down on you.
Oh, the rainfall?
Yeah. And so, like, I don't want to wash my hair every time I get in the shower. So that was like, I was having now, and there was a spigot on the side, but I had to, like, from the wall, but I had to, like, hold it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So is that how there's two ways to do it, but you have to, like, press a button or something to get the wall one to work? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
a little annoying. Yeah.
It took, and for a guy or somebody who doesn't care about getting their hair wet every time they get in the shower, it's not a big deal. I'm just telling you how it was.
Sure.
Anyway, but I loved it. I would definitely go back. I would definitely stay there again. I still think I love the Disneyland Hotel more. It's a little farther away, not that much farther away, but I really did love the redo at the Grand Californian.
Cool.
Have you stayed at all three Disneyland Resort hotels?
I've stayed at Disneyland Hotel and I've stayed at Grand Californian, and I've only toured Paradise Pier, but I've been in rooms and toured it. So. Anyway.
Cool.
So we went to, we went to Trader Sam's the first night and just had drinks. It was, we'd all traveled that day, and we ended up just having appetizers and drinks at night. And then that was our meal. And it was really lovely, and it wasn't overly crowded. I was really surprised. And that was just really, really fun. We sat outside, and of course it was a beautiful California weather. And then the next day, I can't remember exactly, but we did go to the Galaxy's Edge, and we went, and full confession, I think you already know this about me. I've never seen a Star Wars movie. I don't know anything about Star Wars. I know about R2-D2 and C-3PO, but I don't, that's all I know. I don't, I know what they look like. That's all. So I was just happy to be at Disneyland. So it wasn't like everything was lost on me other than that I was at Disneyland.
Now, what was your perception of Galaxy's Edge? Even though you really didn't know too much about it, like, what was your initial gist of, like, the scope of it and the intricacies of detail?
I thought it was super cool. And I thought, too bad I don't know what this means. And, I thought somebody that's really into it would love it. And my friend that I talk about a lot, that I travel with all the time, she wasn't on this trip. She had been to she's a VIP tour guide at Disney World, and she had been to I had seen all of her stuff about it at Disney World, and they're the exact same thing.
Right.
So I had her perspective, but of course I didn't know anything she was talking about. And she was very, very excited about everything. So I thought it was super cool. I enjoyed it. And I went on what's the main ride called?
Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Okay.
Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run. Okay, so I did text my friend and I said, I just met, what's the guy's name? Hoodoo? What?
The
guy in the front.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, dang it. Anyway, I had texted her. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I haven't been on the attraction yet. Is it a main Star Wars?
He's not even a real person in Star Wars, is he?
Oh, I don't know anything about it then, no.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I texted her that I just met him, and she was so excited. She goes, but do you know who you're talking to? I was like, no, I have no idea. Anyway.
Caroline, do you at least know what a lightsaber is?
I know what a lightsaber is.
I'm only telling this to make you feel better. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I was telling her how excited I was to go to it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I heard you could make one of those glow sticks. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I heard those glow sticks are really, really expensive.
So, don't feel too bad.
No, I don't. I was just there having a good time. But we went on that attraction, and the main attraction. And what did you all say it was called?
Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run.
It is where you drive the spaceship?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon.
It's the Millennium
Falcon. That. We went on that. I loved it. I just loved it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I'm happy to hear you say that.
It was so much fun. And I won't go over how you do the ride because y'all can go do that when you do it. But I really had the best time. I loved it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. It's like what's the one in Animal Kingdom that I love the most called?
Flight of Passage.
Flights of Passage. Okay. It's no Flights of Passage, people. It is no Flights of Passage. But it was but it was very fun, and I loved it. And I was a little worried because of the motion sickness thing, and I was completely fine, 100%. So.
All right. So can I ask you a question? Do you remember what position you sat in?
Oh yeah. So I did it several times because there is a single rider line too. And the first time I was a pilot, and then when I was single rider, I think I ended up being a gunner.
Yeah, so I hear that they put I don't know, George, correct me if I'm wrong, but the single riders they put in the back, right? Or they try to.
And single riders usually, and you were actually lucky if you got a gunner because usually you're an engineer if you do a single rider. Majority of the time.
Unless there's openings, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, the first time we stood in line, because the line wasn't that long, I will tell you this, it wasn't that crowded. It really wasn't horrible. The line wasn't horrible at all. And I was the pilot in the front the first time. And of course, I didn't really know what I was doing anyway. I was just trying to take it all in. And I was, trying not to crash it. But then I wondered, if I did nothing, is this ride still going to be fun? And I think it probably would have been. I mean, because you have jobs you're supposed to do, but I thought these are fake jobs. I don't think I really even have to do these jobs. And anyway, but I loved it. I thought it was great. And then we did the single rider line because we didn't want to stand. And that was great. I highly recommend the single rider line. So I loved it.
So George, you got a chance to go on it, right?
Yes, I did. And I said to myself, for the first time, for the first experience, I hope I get anything but engineer.
Imagineer.
Yeah, I would rather be an Imagineer. Yeah, if someone wants to offer me an Imagineer job. But I said, I just hope I get anything but engineer. And then they give you these little cards that the color code depicts what position you're in, and I believe that the engineer was orange, and they handed me an orange one. I'm like, oh, great, engineer, that's perfect. But I mean, I still enjoyed the ride. I think engineer is the least one that you could actually get the full immersion of it, because with an engineer, you're in the full back part of the ride system. and you constantly have to look to your side to see what buttons you have to press.
Right.
So as you're trying to look up at the front, but you're turning your head to press the button, so you're sort of kind of going back and forth.
Right.
At least with the gunner, and especially the pilot, that you could actually look out, where you're going. But luckily, we banged up a few times, but luckily we didn't have anyone that was completely ignorant to the notion of flying the Millennium Falcon.
You didn't have anyone like me on your trip?
Caroline, did you crash? Or were you guys?
Oh, sure.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I tried to notice the difference between the first time and the second time. And then my friends were giving me a real hard time at the end. I don't know what they were talking about. Like they were all good at it or something. But
so the critiques that I've heard online, you guys tell me what your opinions are. But some say it's too video game-ish. And you guys agree with that? So they say you're more like you're playing a video game.
Honestly, I wouldn't compare it to a video game. It's more like of Star Wars, but it's more interactive, where you're in charge of the adventure.
Right.
You mean Star Tours? Is that what you're talking about?
What did I say?
You said Star Wars.
Star Tours, excuse me. Yeah, you can put that along with me being an Imagineer.
Okay, yeah. It's going to be a good day for you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I've heard about it is, if you get a pilot that bumps into things, that it's a little shaky, a little like jerky, I guess.
I've heard.
I can speak to that.
Sure.
I've heard that there were some people that went on with. I think Stan was also one of them. That there were two kids, or he knew someone that went on with these two kids. They were very small, that they could barely look over to see the screen, and like they were just literally. It was like a horrible experience.
Really? They're too short?
Just because they couldn't do anything, and it was like very choppy and very rough.
Uh-huh.
And I guess a lot of people weren't really too thrilled about that because they're waiting in line to experience this ride. And lo and behold, it's in the hands of these two little half pints that can't see over the controls.
I don't know. I think it's a little bit.
Well, I'm happy to hear, Caroline, that as a non-Star Wars fan, that you enjoyed the attraction. That's good to hear.
I did. And if the line wasn't long, I would have gone right back on and gotten it.
However, I did go on with this mother-daughter that were the pilots, and the mother knew absolutely nothing of what to do.
Uh-huh.
I mean, everything lit up for you, when to press the button.
Right.
And it was an Emperor's New Groove moment where Yzma says to Kronk, and the mother's pulling this lever, and the daughter's screaming at her, "Wrong lever!"
Oh.
Again, Dan, Yzma.
That's a made-up character you guys keep bringing up. You just threw it in again.
I really enjoyed
I had
it.
to bring it up for you.
Okay, so do you guys have any more questions about, or want to talk about that anymore?
Well, just Star Wars Land in general.
The next thing I was going to talk about is, and I cannot remember what it's called, and I should have, you guys can tell me. The bar there? The bar?
Cantina?
Yeah, Cantina, okay. So you have to have a reservation to go to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can only stay, the longest you can stay is 45 minutes.
Right.
And I'm just going to be really, you guys know that I tell it like it is. What you see with me is what you get. I'm not going to tell you everything about Disney is great. Okay. That's never going to be for me. I'm always going to be honest, but I'm a really positive person, but I'm going to be honest with you. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, in a good way or a bad way? I can't wait to hear that.
No. I was really disappointed. I wasn't like upset or anything. I'm being maybe a little dramatic right now. It was what, in my opinion, what it was a quick service bar, in that every drink is prepared. There's no mixing of any drinks. They're very expensive. It's super loud in there. The experience was now this is coming from somebody who doesn't know anything about Star Wars. But I feel like the same way sort of about Be Our Guest at Disney World. I don't think the food's great, and I think you're paying to be in that cafeteria, big room, to walk in the castle.
Yep.
And I thought the drink I got was not good, and was really loud. And the fact that they don't make any of the drinks and all they do is pull a lever. I mean, I just thought, okay, Disney has figured out how to take a bar and automate it. And hey, I'm glad I went so that I could experience it, and I never need to go back.
Say again, they pulled a lever. See, take a lesson, Dan.
They pulled a lever on every single drink.
Here's my thought, because I actually did experience Oga's Cantina. It reminds me of a bar / nightclub, so to speak, because of DJ Rex and everything. And almost like it's compacted. It's like I really wish that they would, and I heard rumors that they are supposed to expand it at some point, because I think if they were to give some breathing room, I think that would help a lot, because everything is just right there. As soon as you walk in, it's like, there's the bar, here's the seating. I wasn't too thrilled of all the drinks. I did sample several of them. One in particular, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of it. It was really good. It was actually an alcoholic beverage. It almost looked like the color like of a cranberry wine look to it, but I can't remember the name of it. That one was really good. There was a few other ones that were very had a real funky taste, in my opinion. And as you said, Caroline, that I think that what you're paying for is more so the experience than actually what you're getting.
Right.
Luckily, I was with a friend. I went with Christian. He invited me because he had a reservation. So the fact that I got to experience it, but it's something that I wouldn't go out of my way to say I need to go in there every single time I visit Galaxy's Edge. But I will say it is very comical to the fact that if you sit down at a table, because they have to fill up every space. So you could be sitting with people that you may not be acquainted with. And I think it was so funny that he and I sat at this table with these other group of people. No one knew each other. It was somewhat awkward at first. After we knocked back a few, suddenly everyone becomes a friend. But and then this guy, he cracked us up because there's this one drink that has this foam at the top. And it's sort of like Pop Rocks, where when you drink it, it fizzes your tongue and lips.
Oh, wow.
And he actually enjoyed it, and he actually requested just to have a cup full of foam.
Did they give him a cup full of foam?
He actually got a cup full of foam.
The foam is even pre-made, because we stood at the bar so I could see everything that was happening, how the drinks were made and everything.
Did they pause and were like everything shut down, and they like took out, like they were ponding on the machines and everyone was clapping? No, they did that when we were there. It was like a little, not a show, but it was just more like where everything shut down, and to boost everything back up, they had to hit the machine.
Yeah. I just thought, how when you go like to McDonald's and you order a hamburger, all they do is grab the hamburger and put it in your bag. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It was this exact same system with drinks.
So you hear that, passengers? Oga's Cantina is only just a Star Wars McDonald's.
That's all it is. That's all it is. It's way overpriced too. It was very expensive, I thought. So.
But don't go in there looking for a McRib. So.
No, just go in there looking for an overly priced, not very good drink. Do you guys want to talk about that anymore?
No.
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So that was pretty much my experience with Star Wars Land. We went and we ate at Oh my Lord. Okay. George, you ate there too. I think I saw you put a picture up. Over in California Adventure, they redid it.
The Lamplight Lounge?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I really, really enjoyed that.
I love the Lamplight Lounge.
Yeah, the food was really good. It was nice, really nice atmosphere, and I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I would have never been able to experience the Lamplight Lounge this trip had it not my flight got delayed. So from it delaying, it actually gave me an extra experience.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was we really enjoyed that. And then another thing that I really love, and I've talked about it before, is the wine bar that's up, kind of across from that. You know where the why do I not know names of anything anymore?
I'm right with you. Apparently, I was an Imagineer on Star.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, there's right across from that is there's a restaurant, and they serve a lot of wine. There's even a walk up. There's actually a quick service where you can order a glass of wine. That's really good, actually. It's good wine and stuff. So that we spent some time there, and I guess, and we went on Space Mountain, and I just love Space Mountain at Disneyland. Mm-hmm. Did you do Space Mountain this time?
I love Space Mountain at Disneyland. I mean, I'll ride it at Walt Disney World, but I can assure myself that when I go on Disneyland's version, I won't need a chiropractor after.
Yeah. I love it. I loved it. I don't think we really did much I was only there for 2 days, so I couldn't do a lot. But I just loved being there, and the weather, and I was so happy to be there. I hadn't been in a couple of years, and it just felt so great to be there.
What days were you out there?
I flew out on a Wednesday, and so I was there Thursday, Friday, and I left on a Saturday morning.
Was that the week after the expo?
No, I was there. I think I was there the exact same time you were. I was there the exact same time you were. My trip was just so last minute that, I didn't go to the expo. I've been to the expo many times. I also can check that off my list. I don't need to go back, unless I'm going to go with Kristen Bell or something like that. I don't, or Bob Iger, if he needs somebody to go with him, then I'll go with him, kind of thing. But I don't want to stand in all those lines and stuff, and I've done it, and it was fun, and it was great. So that was kind of nice being in the parks when D23 was going on, because there weren't a ton of people in the parks, which was really great.
No, there was. I mean, I went to the expo, but during the weekdays, it was, I wouldn't say almost empty, but I mean, I got on 9 rides in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, we were really, really pleased. The one morning that we did the Star Wars thing, we got up for the Magic Morning. And of course, we had all just come in from the east, so it was easy to be there at 6:30 in the morning. That wasn't a problem. But I was like, really? This is amazing. I thought it was going to be way worse than it was, and it wasn't bad at all.
George, how many days did you spend in the parks?
I was out there for 12 days altogether. 3 days at the expo, about 9.5 days at the parks.
Wow, that's a long time. I mean,
yes, a lot of people still ask me, because it's Disneyland, were you bored? Were you tired of it? And I tell you what, as I said, I have a different perception on it, because that was the longest I've ever been to Disneyland in one trip.
Sure.
That was about the equivalence of 3 trips that I usually take to Disneyland, because I usually do like a 4-day at Disneyland. But with me getting my Premier Passport,
did you get that?
I did.
I used to have that.
That I pretty much lived like a California local.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did. I didn't really feel the rush to get everything done. I just took my time. I paced myself. I went into the park, sat on a bench for like an hour and a half just to watch people, take in the sights, the sounds, the smells, and then I'd walk out and walk around downtown Disney.
Yeah, that's great. And with that pass, you should totally do that. You have made great use of that pass. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, it's like the second that it was handed to me, I have the power in my hands.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just hold it up to people and I say, this is my prescription for my addiction.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's so great. I used to have one and it didn't get that much love from me. So good for you. So go and stay 9 days there. That's wonderful. That was pretty much my trip. I flew into, this is a tip that works really well for me. I know obviously people are going to fly into whatever airport that is the cheapest, but also consider that you've got to pay to get to and from the airport. I flew into Orange County. That's my favorite airport to fly into when I'm going to Disneyland. It's the closest. You can take a taxi. I just got off the airplane when I got there and walked out to transportation. And I actually got into a van that was taking people to different hotels. It was $12. It didn't bother me a bit. It didn't hardly take any time. It was totally fine. Would do it again. And when I left, my flight was at 6 a.m. or something like that. So I did take I took an Uber back to the airport because I didn't want to be at that time of day. I needed to get back to the airport. I didn't want to mess with anything. So it was like $25. It was totally worth it. So
what's the time like in the cab or in the Uber from hotel to airport? How long did it take?
It didn't take that long. 15 minutes.
Wow.
That's what I was going to say, about 15. Because I only fly to Orange County when I go out to Disneyland. I
know a lot of people fly to LAX because sometimes it's cheaper, but it's not right. It's not next door. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So how far away is LAX in comparison? Like,
well, you have a lot more traffic to deal with.
Right. Yeah.
On the traffic, it could be really bad. So
right.
If you're lucky, I would say like 45
an hour
minutes to an hour.
Yeah. So, and I have gone to Disneyland and flown LAX. But Orange County and the airport code is SNA is a really small airport, and it's just very easy to get to Disneyland. So anyway, and that sort of just about sums up my trip. I had, when I got there, I'll tell you this, when I got to the hotel before my friends did. And so I did end up spending a little bit of time at the pool, and the pool was lovely and has really nice chairs and umbrellas. And so that was nice. And I ate in the bar, and the food was really good. And I didn't feel funny sitting there by myself or anything like that. I really just enjoyed the entire experience, and I would do it all again in the same way. No, except I'm not going to that cantina again, but everything else I would do again. So
the McDonald's knockoff.
That's right. That overpriced McDonald's.
All right. So I have a question for both of you. So as you guys know, I'm a Walt Disney World guy. I've only been to Disneyland a few times in my life, and the last time I was there was about 20 years ago. So I haven't been there in a long time. But next year I'm doing an Alaska cruise. So I was thinking about maybe flying to Disneyland and do that a few days, and then go from Disneyland, fly to Vancouver from there. If I were to do this, George, it's probably somewhere in between the 9 days and Caroline's 2 days. But what do you guys think is the right amount of time?
4.
And this would be for the whole family, correct?
Yeah. There's actually 6 of us. My parents would go too.
Okay.
I think 4 days.
4 days?
I was going to say 4 days. I would say do 2 days per park.
Okay.
Yeah. That way you can.
So that way you can get a little bit of everything in case you miss something on the day. And then
sure.
you happen to then you could walk around downtown Disney because everything's walkable right there.
Right.
So you won't have to worry about catching a bus or, of how we do in Walt Disney World. But
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. 4
You
days.
can do it in 3, but since you've got your parents with you, I would do it 4.
Okay.
Just because they can take it at a more leisurely pace if they want to.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think 4 is good.
And how long is your cruise, Dan?
It's what is it, 6 or 7 nights?
And you're going on the
Wonder.
Going on the Wonder?
Yeah, the Wonder from Vancouver.
That's
Your first Disney cruise.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. I started looking into all the excursions this week.
Oh, good.
Trying to figure out what we're gonna do, and
Welcome to the club.
I know it's very exciting. It's I'm so used to Disney planning for the parks, and this is a whole.
This is going to be a whole nother kind of Disney relaxation.
Yeah,
Lord.
I don't know if I'm ready for it, to be honest.
It's going to be great. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. I can't
but
wait.
I think you guys know I'm not the type of guy that just can sit there and relax. I have to be moving at all times.
There'll be plenty of things for you to do.
Yeah, all right. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Don't be worried about
There's
that.
plenty to do.
Plenty of things to do. Plenty of things to do. Plenty. Well, does anybody have anything else to add to tonight's show?
Yeah, when am I going to go to Disneyland? I can't wait now. You guys got me hyped up.
It's the best. And the weather is it's so wonderful.
It is every single time, and I probably just jinxed myself, but every single time that I've been to Disneyland, I have not had a rainy day. Not one.
Wow.
Isn't there a song, It Never Rains in California? That's a song. You can look it up.
Meanwhile, it rains every day in Florida.
Right, exactly. The weather was so great.
It was perfect.
It was great. Take me there now.
I spent some time. The last time I was in Disneyland is because I spent some time in San Francisco when I was graduated from high school, and we took a drive from San Francisco to Disneyland, and it was like the greatest drive of my life. I always go back to that drive.
That's so nice.
So cool.
That's so nice.
Now, Dan, if you do Disneyland, would you stay on on Disney property, or would you do one of the Good Neighbor hotels?
Well, I would try to use my DVC points.
Oh, that's
yeah. Okay, do that.
So, that's
do that.
That would be my goal.
Do that.
So, but I have to say, because I'm really planning on a very large trip in 2 years from now to Disney World. I'm going to get a grand villa, and so I have to save my points, and we'll see what happens.
Oh,
you doing it for the 50th, Dan?
Yeah, for the 50th. Yep. So, and I'm bringing our good friends, their whole family. We're going to treat them. Use the.
I could be your nanny. I'll come be your nanny.
We may need a nanny.
Okay, I'll come be
There's a
your
lot of children going.
I'll come be your nanny, and then you guys can have fun.
I might take you up on that. So, but yeah, it sounds like you guys had an awesome time. So cool.
It was great. It was great. Do you have another one planned, George?
Well, I leave in 5 days for Disney World.
Okay. But not to Disneyland.
Not to Disneyland. I'm trying to think of Disneyland. Probably my next one, I'm going to try to shoot for the next expo.
Okay. So next August.
Yeah.
Are they having it next year?
Sometimes they hold it in August. Sometimes they hold it in July. They vary every other year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Lately, it's been August.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
I kind of like that, though. I don't like where they have it in the beginning or the middle of the summer, because I like it when kids are starting to go back into school.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a grand design as to why they have it when they have it.
Yeah. Well, I heard that they tried to have it as close to San Diego Comic-Con to, get the same type of person to stay there, 1 weekend San Diego Comic-Con, 1 weekend D23. But I'm not sure if they moved away from that. I think 2 years ago, that's what they did. It was the week before or the week after San Diego Comic-Con.
Huh.
That would make sense.
The people watching's fantastic. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, y'all passengers, thanks for joining us tonight. We really had fun reminiscing about our trip to Disneyland, our trips to Disneyland.
I love these ones. I love where we just sit back and just have a chat, just a big round table discussion.
Isn't it kind of funny that, okay, so we're on the same podcast. We were both there at Disneyland at the same time, and we didn't even see each other.
No. I bumped into a lot of people, and I didn't bump into you.
I know. Mine was too crazy short. Had I been there any longer, I'm sure we would have worked it out. So
I know. Like Stan is a big. He loves to meet up with people. I can't do it. I don't know. Like I'm so packed. Like I said, I'm very and it's, by the minute.
Yeah, and it's hard once you get there when you're in your groove and you're doing something to go. You think you're going to be it's going to be convenient to do it, and it's not. I'm with you. I'm totally with you, Dan. I'm totally with you. So anyway,
I've met people just walking by and saying, "Hey, what's going on?" And then that's different because it's in your flow.
Right, because it worked. It was convenient. Right, right, exactly. So, well, this was really fun. This was so much fun. I'm so glad we got together. And passengers, thank you for joining us. And hey, Ken, take it away.
If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tour Magical Ticket Holders. While on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tour. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, as well as Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to send us a message, you can email us at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.
Hello, dearie. No need to be afraid. Come closer. I won't hurt you. I want you to open the lock and let me out. That's it. Release me. Let me out and I'll show you some nice tricks. I'll give you powers you never dreamed of. I'll show you how to fly. Or how to turn water into gasoline. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Please, you must help me. These chains are so strong, so heavy. All right, you'll regret you didn't help this poor nice lady. I can break these chains myself, and you'll be sorry. I can't do it.